The Centel Sports Network presents 1984 high school football. From Memorial Field in Elgin, Illinois, in a battle for first place in the Upstate 8 Conference, the Elgin Maroons host the West Aurora Blackhawks.
Coach Ron Ellett and an interview about tonight's game.
Yeah, quite a spirited assembly. The goalbusters were out in force.
Yes, I think it was even more spirited than the homecoming for DeKalb. Kids are really up, the team's really up. It's going to be a heck of a football game.
What about this theme, goalbusters?
Well, that came from our defensive coordinator, Dale Schaefer and Rich Carpenter, and they really have the kids going on it. And I didn't understand it for a while, but it's the idea is to stop the other team from scoring. That's what they're doing. So anything that they can do in that nature, I'm for it.
Well, that Elgin defense is pretty tough.
Oh, it is. It's amazing. We've only given up one legitimate touchdown, and the other two our offense gave up. We gave up one mishandling a punt against DeKalb down on the 2-yard line, and then against East Aurora, we threw an interception and gave them the ball on the 3-yard line. So defense, giving up 7 points in the Upstate 8, that's pretty darn good.
You also, during the assembly, you made a reference to, I think it was John Paul Jones.
Yes, John Paul Jones had all the odds against him a long time ago, and he said, heck, we've just begun to fight, and that's the way the Elgin Maroons feel. We've just begun to fight. What's ahead of us is what we've been waiting for.
Everyone's talking about this great passing attack of Boris to Page and the different formations that West Aurora uses. What are you going to do to stop that?
Well, West Aurora is like the University of Illinois, and you don't stop teams like that. What you try to do is end up with more points at the end, and I feel if we can hold them to 21 points, we can beat them, because I think we'll score more than 21, but we have to hold them to 21 or less to beat them tonight.
Do you think it's an advantage for you because your team has run a multiple of different types of formations during the year that your players maybe are used to seeing a lot of different things?
Well, I think it helps a lot, and the thing that I think will help our defense is most of our defensive players work against our offense because we have a platoon system, so they have the added advantage of seeing a lot of things that you normally wouldn't see, so I think they'll be a little more prepared. But again, I don't expect that defense to shut out West Aurora tonight. They're just too powerful, but I do expect to win.
What about offensively? Everybody talks about the Maroon defense, but I think that the Maroon offense has done a great job, and you've used a wide variety of plays. There's always a surprise from Elgin.
Yes, we've been fortunate that when we've had some surprises, they've been at the right time, and they've scored. And we scored 31 points last week, and I think our offense is about ready to gel. Last year, when I was coaching the last couple games, we averaged about 45 points a game. In the playoffs, we scored 35, and our team, I can just really feel that they're ready to put some points on the board.
We'll soon see if the Goalbusters theme holds true. It certainly did last week as Elgin High School surprised everyone in a big victory over Streamwood High School, winning 31-0. The Maroons showed a tough defensive squad. They've held their opponents to 21 points in the Upstate 8 Conference. Now let's take a look at some highlights from last week's game against Streamwood. Now here's that opening kickoff. Chris Montgomery takes it, and he's a fine running back, and I'm sure that Coach Dave Smiley from Streamwood probably will think twice after kicking it to Chris on this one as he runs 61 yards, almost runs the official over. Takes the ball all the way down to the Streamwood 25-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds. Chris then ran over 2 plays later from 5 yards out. Look at that, nice and easy. That gave Elgin a 7-0 lead. And the play that really broke Streamwood's back came with 38 seconds to go in the first half. Rodney Scott intercepts the ball right on the goal line. There he goes, and nobody's going to touch him. He goes all the way 100 yards for 6 points. Now his jaunt ties an Illinois high school record, and that gave Elgin a 21-0 lead at half. Now if you like that run by Rodney Scott, let you take a look at this play. Now Coach Ron Ellett, everybody talks about his diverse offense, and this is an example of it. Steve Burser to Todd Seatman. Todd Seatman to Chris Montgomery on a little double pass. Nice move. Watch Montgomery as he razzle-dazzles himself all the way in for the score. 44-yard touchdown run. Final score, Elgin 31, Streamwood 0. Well, that was some highlights of last week's victory over Streamwood High School. With me is the principal of Elgin High School, Larry Nemmers, and there's going to be a big decision being made in School District U46 that is going to concern athletics. Larry, what are going to be the implications of this referendum on athletics?
Well, one of the things I wanted to say, Ken, before this game even gets started, I'm so excited about tonight for our kids and our student body that it's amazing. You can't measure what extracurricular activities do for a kid's well-being and his self-esteem. And you try to measure those things and you can't do it. There's more to education than just book learning. And I think we're doing an outstanding job in the classroom, and I would hate to see us, because of the referendum, cut extracurricular activities. And I think the school board has very strongly suggested that that may happen. I think that they're going to shorten our school year and also cut extracurricular activities and probably cut some programs. And I just hope that the people in U46 see the urgent need for this and say yes November 6th on Tuesday. We hope anyway.
I've seen some tremendous football in Elgin and some great crowds. We're starting to get a lot of support from our parents from in both schools, both Elgin and Larkin. So I'd hate to see something like this go away because the value to some of these athletes is tremendous also.
Oh, it's just tremendous. And we had an assembly today. We had our annual fall sports assembly. And if you look down all the athletic teams, you know, the tennis team, the golf team, the girls swimming team, they're all having tremendous years. There's so much excitement at Elgin High School right now. And I know that the same excitement is true at Streamwood High School and Larkin High School and even at the junior highs. I just hope that people see the value of this and we can go on with it.
Well, thank you, Larry. And now let's get ready for some exciting action as the Elgin Maroons take on the West Aurora Blackhawks. Well, the Elgin defensive backfield is an outstanding one. They've had 19 interceptions throughout the year.
Yeah, they're really active. They're not afraid to come up and take a chance, and I think that's what the key is. You know, you're going to get beat once in a while, but it hasn't happened too often with this team because not only can they take chances, but they have that good overall speed where they're able to take a chance and recover at the same time. They're not scared to come up and make a hit, and they're not scared to come up and try and make the interception.
Well, Dave, I know everybody at Elgin High School must have been talking about this game. I know there's an exciting homecoming assembly today, or not homecoming, really a pep rally. It was more like a homecoming assembly for them.
Yeah, they were fired up. You know, the kids were real antsy all day, and the staff themselves. This is the most excited I've seen the staff at Elgin High School about a football game in a long time. You know, Coach Ellett got the kids pumped up. The cheerleaders got them all pumped up, and it was really a fun, exciting assembly.
Well, the Elgin Maroons ready for this game, and as you can see in this homecoming assembly, or this pep assembly tape. Good evening and welcome to Memorial Field. This is Ken Bates along with Dave Cookland bringing you this upstate 8 crucial battle between the West Aurora Blackhawks and the Elgin Maroons. Both teams are undefeated, and a win for Elgin is a must. The Maroons have to win in order to stay in contention in the upstate 8. A loss here would virtually put them out of the playoffs. It would give them 2 losses on the season. Their first loss coming at a 9-3 to Schaumburg High School. The Elgin Maroons, a tough defensive squad with allowing only 21 points on defense in the upstate 8. And there's some excited Maroons along the sideline. Dave, what do you think about Elgin tonight?
Okay, I think they're going to give West Aurora all they want. I know they're going to come out sticking people, and as we've mentioned, I think Elgin's going to give West Aurora a look they haven't really seen this year. I think they're the first team that's got a chance to really match up with them well on the field as far as speed is concerned. They've got some quick people in the defensive backfield. They'll come up and they'll make the hit, and they'll take some chances on passes also. So hopefully if Elgin comes through with a couple big plays, it might make a big difference in a ball game.
What about all those goal busters that we're seeing around here? It's one of the themes that the Elgin Maroon defense has picked up.
I tell you, they started that a few weeks ago, and it's really been contagious. They've been selling iron-ons to all the kids. They're wearing the shirts with the goal busters on them, and it really pumped the kids up when Coach Shaber came up with that idea. I tell you, and they take a lot of pride in their defense and keeping them from crossing that goal line. They don't want to see that official raise his hands.
Well, you mentioned all the different defenses that Elgin's going to have to use tonight. You know, a two-man defensive line, a three-man defensive line. It's quite unusual for a high school team.
Yeah, I tell you, West Aurora has probably seen just about every defensive look that could be thrown at them this year. And I think the key thing, as far as I'm concerned, Kenny, I think the key is taking that slant pass away from West Aurora. if they throw the ball outside, that's fine. It's, they're going to complete some passes and they're going to get some yardage. But, that's definitely a tougher pass to throw. The kid throws it well, but it's a timing pass. And if they can take that slant away and maybe make that good pop the first time. And I'll tell you one thing I think we could look for. The first time West Aurora runs that slant with Kenny Page, I wouldn't be surprised at all, even if you saw an interference call with one of those linebackers hitting him really hard in the chest and letting him know that they're there. I think Elgin's going to be willing to give up an interference call on one play just to let those receivers know that they're out there.
Well, Ronell had told me that he wants to, cut off the pass, and if West is going to beat him, he wants them to use some time on the clock. He wants them to move the ball on the ground. And a key could be number 4, the person teeing the ball up for Elgin, Larry Sullivan, the sophomore place kicker. He can put it up from almost anywhere if you get it across midfield.
Yeah, he's a super asset for the Maroons. I tell you, and with the new rule this year, even if they're a long ways away, we saw it earlier in the year, if he kicks the ball and happens to keep it on the field, it's down right there. We saw him down one on the 1-yard line earlier this year when he tried a 63-yarder.
Well, Sullivan getting ready to kick off. Number 20, deep to receive, Roosevelt Walls. Number 34, Kenny Page. The kick is short, and ball's taken by number 25, Sean Cannon, and he's put down hard. The Elgin Maroon defense fired up, puts him down on the 26-yard line, or 27. It'll be 1st and 10 for West Aurora. And now you're going to get a chance to see the West Aurora passing offense in action. One of those wide receivers to watch is number 1, Kendrick Cross. And the big gun, of course, is number 34, Kenny Page. The quarterback, number 12, Jeff Vorst. The lone running back is Roosevelt Walls, number 20. You can see the split receivers. Tony Jones goes in motion, number 11. Vorst looks to throw on the first play, and a flag goes down. Pass is caught by Kendrick Cross, but we're going to have the officials are going to mark it. There's another flag thrown down as Ron Ellett is pretty vehement along the sideline. They're trying to figure out what the call is.
I don't know what Coach Ellett was so upset about there, Kenny, but evidently it cost him a flag.
Well, you see the penalty first, the motion against the Blackhawks, and then the foul called against the Maroons.
So we saw there, Kenny, that play, that out pass we're talking about where they just get that outside release and try and lead them. And I think the Maroons, with the defense they've got set up here, are going to be able to do a good job of defending that. They've got the defensive end out there on him, bumping him and taking him man-to-man, and then he's got help deep from that outside safety, either Steve Burser or Chris Montgomery. So in essence, they're double-teaming that man on that pattern.
Well, there's the penalty. It's going to be close to a first down. And now, correction, now it should be a first down. It should work out to a perfect 10 for West. So it is a 1st and 10. So the Blackhawks get a first down on a penalty. The Maroons in their two-man line. Jeff Vorst hands off the Walls. And he's stopped for no gain by number 76 of the Maroons. And that's John Pleskovich. He's one of the tackles, along with Brian Nash, number 71.
I think he's got enough confidence in the fact that Nash and Pleskovich are both big, tough kids, and they can take on those linemen and take on the blocks and leave it open for those linebackers to scrape through for the tackle. Childers is very active in the middle.
He's
only a sophomore,
right?
He's only a sophomore, but he's a good hitter, and he's real active out there. He's got good quickness.
2nd and 9, 37-yard line. Vorst working out of the shotgun. Page in motion. Little shovel pass into Page. He's got some running room. Burser gets stiff-armed and knocks Page out of bounds. A little inside shuffle pass.
Yeah, that's where we need that play from the tackle and that outside linebacker. The tackle came up and isolated, but he didn't really see the ball carrier coming through with the ball.
All that time, the Aurora Blackhawks showing a nice little shovel pass inside Kenny Page. Shows his ability and speed as we take a look at the replay, Dave.
It wasn't any surprise to Elgin. They just didn't execute. They've worked on that play of defense. They knew they were they like to run that out of that shotgun formation.
3rd down, short yardage. Ball on the 44-yard line. Ball goes to Roosevelt Walls. He gets outside. A little crackback block. Takes Rodney Scott out of the play. It's 1st and 10 into Elgin territory. The ball on the 43-yard line of the Maroons. Good run by Roosevelt Walls. Number 20.
It's going to be a problem there. Once again, we've got to get some action from those outside linebackers there. When he hits that line of scrimmage, the tackles did the job there again, but they let him get outside. And that's the difference of not having those defensive ends out there on the end of the line of scrimmage.
1st and 10, 44-yard line of Elgin. Boris. And off to inside the Roosevelt Walls, tackled by Rodney Scott and Jeff Orman, but he had good yardage. And Roosevelt Walls is showing why he averages over 8 yards per carry. He's rushed for over 760 yards on the season.
Yeah, we're going to see Elgin switch into that 30 defense now, Kenny. They just brought Dan Verity, the nose guard, in and took out Bill Chidlers, the middle linebacker.
You see Roosevelt Walls, number 20, an excellent running back. And Verity, number 69, comes in to replace Bill Childers, number 32.
So now here
the Elgin defense.
Excuse me, Kenny. Now here they're going to go with that 30 look with the nose guard and the 2 tackles. Hopefully put a little more pressure on the outside there so they can't run the ball. But still yet, I think their pass defense will be sufficient. I don't know if it's sufficient enough to stop the Blackhawks the way they can fill the air.
And so far, it's been all on the ground for West Aurora. First and 10, 34-yard line of Elgin. 2 receivers, Frost and Bushbacher on the near side. Tony Jones in motion. Boris hits Jones, but he's stuck immediately by Todd Upsall with the middle safety of the Maroons. The little guy puts him down. Pick up of 5, however, and a good hit by Todd Upsall is also a fine split end for Elgin. Coach Ronella depending very much on Dale Shabert, his defensive coordinator, to try and stop one of the best passing attacks in the state. 2nd and 5, 29-yard line of Elgin. Jones in motion. Looks for Page. And overthrows him. Jeff Boris overthrows him. Matt Barrico is all over him.
I tell you, we saw a play there where it almost could have been offensive interference call on Kenny Page as he pushed off that Barrico number 83 to get an angle on the ball there.
Well,
ball was behind him and he pushed off to get away from him.
Barrico's going to try to frustrate him a little bit out there.
Oh yeah, he's a feisty kid. He's going to be talking to him out there, I'm sure, and popping him and letting him know he's there.
Well, Page is at the bottom of your screen. Number 34, 3rd and 5, 29-yard line. There's Page in motion. Boris from the shotgun. Hand off the Walls. There's a penalty flag down. It looked like movement on the Blackhawks.
Yeah, we had Jones, number 11, stepping early there.
Dave Eder making the tackle. The Elgin Maroon offensive or defensive line, Carla Legg, the number 87, one of the ends. John Pleshkovich, number 76, a tackle. Ryan Nash, 71, a tackle. The other end, and he's really not, you could really say he's almost like a split end, is Matt Barrico, number 83. The linebackers are 69, Dan Verity, and number 33, Jeff Orman, number 24, Dave Eder.
Big play here for both ball clubs.
4th down and 5.
I don't think you can really count on stopping a team like West Aurora, but this has got to be a big boost for Elgin if they can stop them on this particular series.
Page split to the top of the screen. Boris with Walls behind him. Boris looking to throw in the flat is intended for Tony Jones, and the ball is incomplete, and the Elgin defense, the Goalbusters, rise to the occasion. 1st and 10 for the Maroons.
Jay, they showed us something there, Kenny. They were giving up the run, giving up 8-10 yards a play on that 20 defense, and then they shifted in with Dan Verity in there and took that run away from him a little bit and kept the good pass coverage up.
1st and 10 now for the Maroons. You can see this, the Elgin Maroons defense has only given up 21 points in the Upstate 8 Conference, and that's leading the conference. So Coach Ronella has reason to be pleased with his Goalbusters. 1st and 10. Mercer on the pitch to Montgomery.
Montgomery, the ball, okay.
The key here now, Kenny, as Coach Ellett said, the thing they hope to do is keep the ball away from West Aurora. You know, you hear the old saying, the best defense is good offense, but in this case it's really true because if they can come down, move the ball down the field, and come away with some kind of score on the board, it's got to be a big morale booster to them.
You're right there, Dave. I tell you, this guy's working like working with Don Meredith, chewing tobacco. 2nd down and 6, ball on the 32-yard line. Montgomery in motion. Handoff on the counter to Upsall. And he's stopped by the interior of the
West Aurora defense, number 45, Martin Rios, making the first hit. Third down for the Maroons. The Elgin offensive line, Jeff Roner, number 50, Jerry Potasic, number 72, and number 69, Dan Verdi, the guards, Reggie Richardson, number 79, a tackle. The other tackle is number 76, John Pleshkovich. Tight end is Dale Norris, number 88, split end, number 5, Todd Upsall. Steve Burser, the quarterback, number 11, Terry Cumberlander. Number 40 is fullback. Rodney Scott, number 8, the wingback, facing in toward the center line of scrimmage. Montgomery in motion. And fake to Scott, hand off to Montgomery. He's knocked out of bounds. A good hit by Mark Bushbacher, number 22. And Eric Zuspan, number 2, the outside linebacker. West Aurora using a 4-4 defense with Rios, number 45, and 67, Tom Weaver at the tackles. The end, 72, James Melvin, and 51, Keith Russ. Fourth down and 3 from the 35-yard line. No score, first quarter, 7 minutes to go. Steve Burser. Burser angles a low kick. Bushbacher watching it roll, and Rodney Scott downs the ball on the 25-yard line, and a nice punt by Steve Burser. A good roll for him. Yeah, and Steve is a pretty good athlete.
Oh, yeah. He anything he wants to do, he usually does pretty well. Plus, he's such a competitor. You know he's going to put out a performance when he steps on the field. You could see there, Kenny, that Steve definitely was stepping and angling away from Page. They don't want Kenny Page to touch that ball out in the open field. And he gave up a little distance, I think. Fortunately, they got the good roll, but he was kicking away from number 34.
First and 10 Blackhawks. Page and Bushbacher split to the top of your screen. Ball on the 25-yard line. Forrest hands off the walls. He's got some running room. Orman and Scott put a good stick on him, but not before he picks up him close to first down yardage. Roosevelt Walls, number 20. Fullback for West Aurora. Nice. What seems to be working against the pass as he's quite stopping the run for the Elgin Maroons. Official measurement.
You see there, Kenny, they've gone to the 30, but now they've taken out Upsall and brought...
Measurement is, excuse me, Dave, measurement's just a little short.
They brought Childers, the middle linebacker, back in, and they're going more or less with a single middle safety. Or actually, triple safeties with 2 outside men deep.
Second down and about an inch to go. Dan Verdi, number 69, right over the center. Walls, and he's stacked up, but his forward momentum will get him that first down. But that was a nice stick inside by number 71, Brian Nash, as he stopped Walls right in the hole.
I'll tell you, Kenny, I think John Wren showed a little respect for the Maroon defense right there on that play. That's a typical play where you're going to take a chance and throw the ball when you got second short like that. And I think he wants to get that first down right now.
Well, it is a first down for West Aurora Blackhawks. Rated number 2 in the state, playing the Elgin Maroons, rated number 9. Neither team defeated in the Upstate 8. Shotgun formation. Voris hits Bushbacher. Tackled by Chris Montgomery, number 31. But it's a first down. Mark Bushbacher, number 22, plays both ways for West Aurora.
A little curl pass like that when it's a timing play and the quarterback puts the ball right there, there's really not a whole lot you can do except come up and make the hit like Chris Montgomery did.
Well, if Jeff Voris, a 5'10", 175-pound senior, has over 1,400 yards in passing and 23 touchdowns, that's amazing stats for a high school athlete. Quick slant in to number 11, Tony Jones. Second down. And about 5. The ball just over the midfield stripe. Todd Upsall comes in for Bill Childers, number 32. Verdi, Nash, and Pleskovich, the defensive line for the Maroons. Forrest, a little lob pass, nobody there. Tony Jones picks up easy yardage and a first down inside the Elgin 40.
The quick slant is a tough play to stop after you've been running those curl patterns, Dave. All Boris does is just look up and drop the ball right into Jones's hands. And the Elgin Maroons are taking a timeout. Now, Dave, when somebody's that open on a slant in like that, is it a missed assignment or somebody didn't bump them at the line of scrimmage?
Well, that's what you got to do with that particular play. That was just a little pop pass there to the end. Excuse me, they had trip receivers there. They had a slot, and then they had Jones in tight. As you can see there, he just released, and there was nobody to hit him. Because the outside linebacker, Eater, was very conscious of that slot back running the slant. And, of course, Barrico out on the wide split. And so pretty much with the inverted safeties as they have a no middle linebacker, there's really nobody there to defend that particular pass.
Well, so far, the Maroons have been able to stop, the Boris to Page combination, but he has other receivers that he can hit just as well. Elgin taking a timeout with 5:24 to go. First quarter, no score. First and 10, 38-yard line of Elgin. Boris with Walls, the only setback behind him. Hand off the Walls, right up the middle. Rodney Scott coming up from his safety spot to make the stop.
The other thing about this West Aurora offense is it's based on such quick passes that you can't really put any pressure on the quarterback. He takes a two-step drop, and that's it. You don't have time to get any pressure on him.
Boris is not exactly a tall quarterback, but he moves very well, releases the ball quickly. Page and Bushbacher split to the top of your screen. Boris looks, nobody open, throws inside and short to Bushbacher. Won't be a first down. Hit by Jeff Warman. And that time, Kenny Page well covered by Chris Montgomery deep. Burster and Montgomery, the deep backs, doing a good job keeping the passes being thrown short. 3rd and 1. Ball on the 29-yard line. Boris with the quarterback sneak. 1st and 10. The Blackhawks driving the ball down, mixing their passes along with some good running by Roosevelt Walls. Put the ball on the Maroon 28-yard line. First and 10. Boris to throw again. Hits Bushbacher on a crossing pattern. One tackle's missed. And he's down inside the 10-yard line, knocked out of bounds by Chris Montgomery. And that time the Boris to Bushbacher connection on the crossing pattern was wide open. And a missed tackle can be disastrous if you're an Elgin Maroon defensive back.
You can't afford too many mistakes against this squad.
Good run by Bushbacher as he breaks one tackle and gets knocked out of bounds, but he's inside the 10-yard line. The ball is down to 7. 1st and goal, 7-yard line.
You saw something happen there to a defense player that you just can't afford to happen. You cannot go down to your knees and expect to make an open field tackle.
1st and goal. Page goes in motion. Little shovel pass to Kenny Page. He's got some room. And he's close to the goal line. Todd Upsall and Chris Montgomery stopped him just short of the goal line. Ball sitting on around the 1-yard line. Reggie Richardson and Bruce Poltrock are coming in to shore up the Elgin Maroons' goal line defense. A little shovel pass to Page. It's the second time the Blackhawks have used that one. Kenny Page keeps his balance and almost gets into the goal line. 2nd and goal. Boris with a quarterback sneak. Waiting for a signal. Touchdown with 2:52 to go in the first quarter. Jeff Boris, 1-yard touchdown run. And the score is now 6-0 West Aurora.
So now number 14, Bill Moran, getting set, waiting for his offensive line to get set up. Snap and the kick is no good. Hits the crossbar. What a break for Elgin. Now, you don't see that happen too much. I think they put a little tape around those crossbars and then painted them yellow, Dave.
I tell you, when you walk up there as a kicker, I know that's one of Jocko Wren's favorite plays, is that shifting and unbalanced like that on the extra point. When you walk up there as a kicker, you don't like to stand there for 10 minutes and wait to kick the ball. You want to kick it right now.
Well, there's the first touchdown of the game. Jeff Boris. That was a 75-yard drive and 10 plays for the Blackhawks. The kick is missed. What a break for Elgin. Moran's kick hitting the crossbar and bouncing out. Deep to receive for Elgin. Chris Montgomery, number 31, and Todd Upsall, number 5. Elgin offense hasn't had the ball too much. Bill Moran, number 14, to kick off for West Aurora. A little change up as Kenny Page kicks the ball, and ball squibs in front of Montgomery. Takes out about the 15-yard line. And knifing through for West Aurora is number 8. That's Tim Weber. He got behind the Elgin interference and made the tackle before Chris Montgomery could get any momentum going. And he tackled Montgomery on about the 22-yard line.
I think West Aurora showed a little respect for Elgin's kick-off return team there as they popped the ball in between the receivers.
Well, the Elgin offense with another chance in the first quarter to start a drive. They have a long way to go for a touchdown. Steve Burser, number 11, the quarterback. Rodney Scott, the wingback, facing inside. Handoff goes to Montgomery up the middle. He's tackled by number 67 for the Blackhawks, Tom Weaver, the defensive tackle. Steve Burser, the Elgin quarterback, has thrown for over 610 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chris Montgomery is the workhorse for the Maroons. He's run for over 604 yards on the season. He averages 7.6 yards per carry. He only picked up about 3 on that one. It'll be second down and 7. And timeout, and Coach Ron Ellett is going out onto the field to talk to his squad and get them together because this is a big game for Elgin.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times you see the ball games on television, the professional and college games, and people say, well, why did they waste the timeout? But Coach Ellett realizes this is an awfully big series. You don't want a mistake. You don't want a wasted play, so they're going to go out and talk things over.
2 minutes to go in the first quarter. West ahead 6-0. And a nice 10-play, 75-yard drive. The other running backs for the Maroons, Terry Cumberlander, has rushed for 504 yards, 3 touchdowns. His longest run, 32 yards on the year. And that's Cumberland. There's Coach John Wren. He's the third year coach of the Blackhawks, and he sure has built an excellent program. Last year, the Blackhawks got beat by Addison Trail in the playoffs after winning the Upstate 8 Conference, and Addison Trail went on to face East St. Louis Lincoln in the state championship. Second and 7. Loose ball and a flag down. Burser covers it. Illegal procedure against Elgin. The officials talking to number 55, Joe Strom, a linebacker for the Blackhawks. Todd Upsall, Terry Cumberlander come back in. Number 32, Bill Childress, comes out, along with number 24, Dave Eater. Third down, loss of a yard on the play, 3rd and 8, 24-yard line. Tight formation. Burser hits Upsall, he's got a first down. He's across the 50, into West Aurora territory, and a nice play. Todd Upsall is pretty psyched up. Tackled by number 17, Greg Becker, the cornerback of the Blackhawks, for the first down.
And that could be exactly what the Maroons needed, Kenny. They needed to put the ball in the air a little bit, loosen things up. And I'll tell you, that's a good guy to put the ball too, Todd Upsall. He runs as well in the open field as any kid in the conference. Except for maybe Kenny Page.
Todd talked to me before the game, Dave, and he was so psyched. He talked to me about 3 times. You know, he just likes to talk to you all the time, and he was just so pumped up. Upsall's out. It's 1st and 10, 48-yard line. Hand off to Montgomery. He's got some room. Nice cutback by Chris Montgomery. Gets a block by Dave Eater. He's down inside the 20-yard line. Chris Montgomery. Finally brought down by number 65, Billy Perez. What a run by Chris Montgomery as he cut off tackle and made a great cutback and put the ball down inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, we saw that little trap earlier, and you saw a little hole, but it didn't really go. But this time Chris knifed through there and really picked up the yardage.
Nice cut. Dave Eater got a good piece of one of the defensive backs, gave Montgomery another 5 yards. 1st and 10 Maroons, 19-yard line. Cumberlander slips, but he still picks up the little yardage.
I'll tell you that the Blackhawks have to respect number 40, Cumberlander. He runs hard. He's a straight-ahead runner. They run that little trap play where they make the fake to him. That isolates those linebackers and opens things up for Montgomery on the opposite side.
Well, he's a big guy. He's 6 foot, 225 pounds, and he runs hard.
Yeah, he's not going to quit running until somebody takes him down, I'll tell you that.
Jeff Roner, number 50, the Elgin center. Cumberlander, Montgomery, the running backs. Hand off to Montgomery, the right side. He's met by Bushbacher at the line of scrimmage. Mark Bushbacher everywhere on that West Aurora defense. He's definitely one of the best players out on the field. Clock is running with about 5 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Maroons behind 6-0. And that was the last play of the first quarter. The score is 6-0 West Aurora. So the Elgin Maroons have the ball on the 15-yard line with a 3rd down situation. What was it see from Elgin in this one, Dave?
Well, I look, Kenny, for either some type of play-action pass or possibly they'll keep the ball on the ground. Now, it's going to put him in a tough situation. I don't know if he's thinking 4-down territory here or if he's thinking Larry Sullivan. From this point, you're never going to say that a high school kid's automatic, but Larry Sullivan's about as close as you can get to being automatic in a high school kicker from this distance.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he really kicks him. 52-yarder against Schaumburg. It's tremendous.
Anytime you get inside that 40-yard line, it's a pretty good chance it's going to go through the uprights.
3rd down and 6. Ball on the 15-yard line in the first play of the second quarter. Coach Ron Ellett, in his first year with the Elgin Maroons, has done an excellent job in developing an offensive powerhouse, plus a good defensive team. 21 points only in the Upstate 8. Big play for Elgin. Mercer to throw. It's for Upsall. He's got it. And the official signals touchdown. Look at Todd Upsall. Thinks about spiking it and tosses to the official. First play of the second quarter. Todd Upsall on the swing pass across the middle. Chris Montgomery ran off the halfbacks. And look at those Maroons. They're excited. 6-yard touchdown pass. Correction, 15-yarder.
Generally think a kid his size, 30, 140 pounds, can be a little intimidated in a big ball game like this.
Boy, did he get hit.
But all Todd Upsall has said all week is we're going to get a little bit of respect this week.
The first play of the second quarter, Todd Upsall. Larry Sullivan puts it up. Todd Seekman holds, and the Elgin Maroons take a 7-6 lead. Pretty pass from Steve Mercer to Todd Upsall. And those guys are teammates for Dave Cookland's baseball squad, so those guys have known each other for a long time. So the Elgin Maroons, there's a score that you like to see. 7-6, the Maroons over the West Aurora Blackhawks.
This might be a new position for the Blackhawks, Kenny. I might be wrong, but I don't think they've trailed in a ball game yet this year.
Well, that's one thing Coach Ella talked about too, Dave, is making the Blackhawks play their starters a whole game. They've blown so many people out and beaten teams so badly that their starters haven't had to play a whole game. He wants to see what kind of shape they're in.
Yep. I tell you, those Maroons are definitely in shape after those 3-a-day practices they went through all fall.
Larry Sullivan, number 4, the sophomore place kicker. Walls and Page deep to receive. Sullivan, high kick. Taken by Walls on about the 7-yard line, and he does a flip in the air as he was hit first by number 88, Dale Norris, the Maroons tight end on offense. There's Dale. He's happy to get a hit. I'll tell you, nothing picks up a team any more than a score like that, especially when you've been down.
Oh, yeah. And another thing is going to get these fans involved in the game. And I tell you, that gets these kids going. They like hearing that crowd and getting everybody pumped up.
I'll tell you, Dave, I haven't seen a crowd like this at an Elgin High game in a long time. We have fans sitting down along the track and in some portable bleachers, and West Aurora's brought quite a contingent. 1st and 10, 27-yard line. Flag goes down as Walls picks up some yardage. It looks like and that should help the Maroons. The Elgin defense playing in a three-man defensive line. It's very similar to a pro defense. I'm not sure what the signal is. 15-yard penalty against the Maroons.
15-yard penalty assessed against the Maroons for illegal participation by an Elgin player.
I think it may be an illegal participant on that. That's first the indication. So it's a first down. Nice pickup for the Blackhawks on the penalty. Ball on the 41-yard line. Forrest hits Page. Orman's trying to catch him. Page pushes him off. He knocked out of bounds by number 87, Carl Alagna. Kenny Page, the outstanding receiver.
Now there, Kenny, is where the Maroons need some help from their linebackers. All Page did was slam down, drag across the field, and they didn't have any help across the middle. You can't expect Perico to stay with him all the way across the field like that.
Kenny Page is a great receiver. 16 touchdowns. Now, most teams are happy to get 16 touchdown passes in a year. He's had 16 himself. 1st and 10, inside Maroon territory, 39-yard line. Cross and Bushbacher. Split on the wide side. Hand off the Walls. He's got some running room. And he tripped as he went down. Hit by Chris Montgomery and Todd Upsall. Roosevelt Walls showing why he's got an average of 8 yards a carry every time he runs it. There's nobody there to hit him. Everybody has to be out covering all of those receivers.
I tell you what, Kenny, nothing against Roosevelt Walls. He's a heck of a runner, but I think I might like to run with this offense.
Oh, it's tremendous. So it's a first down on the Elgin 29-yard line. So far, Elgin has been able to stop the pass. But the run by Roosevelt Walls has really hurt him. 1st and 10. Cross and Bushbacher at the bottom of your screen. Kenny Page split at the top. And off goes the Walls up the middle again. And gets hit by Rodney Scott and Jeff Orman. You're going to see Rodney Scott, number 8. He likes to hit people. 2nd down, about 2. Ball is on the 20-yard line. Maroons ahead, 7-6. Boris with no running backs that time, and you knew he had to throw it. Flag goes down. We'll see what the call is. It looks like it's going to be against West Aurora. Illegal motion. And that time there weren't any running backs.
No, you saw also that time the right tackle for Maroons got his hands up there in the passing zone. That's what he's going to have to do. Sooner or later he might be able to tip that ball and pick it off, but he's got to create some type of block there. He can't just give Boris a chance to pop that ball over in that quick little pop pass.
Well, the defensive tackles for the Maroons, Brian Nash, number 71, John Pleskovich, number 76, along with number 69, Dan Verdi, who's playing right over the center. A correction, make that Reggie Richardson, number 79. Verdi's getting a break. 2nd and 7. 25-yard line following the penalty. Boris doesn't like what he sees there. He calls timeout. Not sure of that formation. And John Wren's going to come out. Now it's 9:34 to go, and this is Elgin's sitting pretty good right now, Dave.
Yeah, they've done a decent job. They haven't given up the big play. I think that's the key. You know, West Aurora, granted, has moved the ball down the field, but the way the Maroons are playing their defense, I think they're saying we'll give them the soft stuff, we'll give them some of the short stuff, and hopefully sooner or later West Aurora is going to make a mistake. I think that's what they have to do. They got to keep from giving up that big play and letting West Aurora score quickly, because that's what they do so well.
How are you going to stop Roosevelt Walls on the run, though? Still do that.
I tell you, I think we see a move there that was just made by putting Reggie Richardson in there, hopefully to shore up the middle a little bit and take that away from him. You've got to see a little bit more activity from those interior linemen, Pleskovich, Natch, and now Reggie Richardson, because they're going to have to stop the run, because with that two-step drop, they're really not going to put too much pressure on the pass.
Well, thanks, Dave. And 9:34 to go. West Aurora taking a timeout. Dale Shabert out there exhorting his goal busters to keep the score down. Second down, 7, 25-yard line. Elgin ahead, 7-6. Walls the only setback behind Voris, looking for Page. A ball was picked off by Barrico, number 83. Matt Barrico was right there. Excellent coverage by the Maroons, and that's what they're trying to do, frustrate Kenny Page, one of the top receivers in the state.
Oh, yeah, I tell you, that particular pattern, that quick out release, I think the Maroons have got that shut down pretty well. They've given up the slants, but they've got two guys there more or less double teaming Kenny and also Cross on the other side.
You see Barrico hitting him there. And then who's that? Number 11. Burser came up and almost got a piece of it, too. 3rd and 7, 25-yard line. And off the Walls, up the middle. Once again, Rodney Scott comes up from his safety position along with Jeff Orman, the linebacker, and make the stick. But Walls picks up a first down.
You know, we saw it again, Kenny. We're going to have to see a little more action inside and take away that quick playoff tackle there.
Well, it's a first down, 17-yard line.
See Bruce Poltrock, number 61, coming in the ball game now.
Elgin trying to find the right combination on defense to stop the running attack. Now Voris going out of the shotgun. Number 12, Jeff Voris. There goes Kenny Page, 34 in motion. Little shovel pass. Makes a cut. He's got some room outside, and he's quick. He's going to go in for the score. 17-yard touchdown run on the shovel pass. 8:51 to go. Boy, Kenny Page, once he gets outside, he's gone.
Yeah, there's not anybody that's going to catch him in this conference.
Well, he won the conference 100 meters and 200 meters last year as a junior. There he's gone. There's nobody going to catch him there.
Well, I tell you saw right there the key block was by number 20 Walls. He kicked that end out and it opened up, and they down blocked on the tackle and opened it up for Kenny Page.
Timeout for West Aurora. Their extra point team look a little flustered, trying to get their extra point together. 8:51 to go in the second quarter. Kenny Page scoring on a 17-yard run on that shovel pass, making the score 12-7. Make that correction. John Wren trying to figure out he's going to try to go for two.
Now, yeah.
Well, that's 17 touchdowns, or you can call that a pass reception, Dave, on that. The 17 touchdowns for Kenny Page. And that drive went 73 yards in 7 plays. And Kenny Page, number 34, going into tonight's game, had 844 yards receiving. Oh, we did make that correction and made that 17 touchdowns. Well, it's now extra point time, and we're going to see what the Blackhawks do. The Maroons have to hold on this one. Voris. He looks for a quick slant to Page, and he's nailed by Chris Montgomery. Nice hit by Montgomery and Barrico. Matt Barrico, 83, put a good stick on him, and they were all over him. Nice.
Yeah, the key play was by Montgomery. He came up, slapped the ball away. Barrico's on the backside, but if Montgomery wouldn't have been there, I think Kenny Page would have made the catch.
Boy, once he gets outside, he is extremely quick. Tough to stop. Kicking off now for the West Aurora Blackhawks, number 14, Bill Moran. Here's a replay. Now, you
just missed Montgomery, but you could see that Barrico is really all over him. Number 32, Bill Childress, the sophomore, getting his chance to start for the first time of his career. He's excited. Deep to receive, Todd Upsall, number 5. Number 31, Chris Montgomery. We'll see if Moran kicks it or Page. So Moran is going to kick it, and the ball goes out of bounds. So the Maroons will get a good shot now. That's just what they like to have. That's as good as a return. Elgin getting the ball on the 40-yard line. That's a nice break. So it's 1st and 10 for the Maroons, 40-yard line. Coach Dale Shaber is going to get that defense together and see if they can stop that run and the shovel pass, and I think the Maroons would have this thing licked.
Well, you know, I think the idea they've got is a sound one, but they just need to get the job done physically. You know, they got to take people on and take that run away if they're going to be successful.
It's Cumberlander trying to get some yardage on the run himself, tackled by number 51, Keith Russ, the defensive end of the Blackhawks. Trey Cumberlander averaging 5 yards a carry. He's rushed for 500 yards. The Elgin Maroon offense has run for over 1,200 yards on the season. 2nd down, 7. 43-yard line. Hand off to Montgomery. Off tackle. He's got some running room. Tackled by Mark Bushbacher, number 22. That guy's everywhere. Yeah, otherwise, Montgomery would have broken that one.
We're talking about another great athlete there with Bushbacher, another 3-sport man.
There's Monty, number 31. That's not Monty Hall. That's Chris Montgomery.
Once again, Kenny, you saw that trap play there where they more or less isolated those linebackers with the fake to Cumberlander off left tackle and then came back off right tackle with Montgomery. That time they had it shut down on the inside, but he escaped outside.
Good pickup for Chris Montgomery. He's rushed for over 600 yards, you saw on our graphic. 3rd down and 2. 48-yard line. Purser is going to throw. He's got a receiver. Upsall is open. Almost makes the catch. I called that too soon. Wow. Nice pass from Purser to Upsall. And Greg Becker, the cornerback, just put enough pressure on Todd Upsall. I'll tell you, Steve Purser hung that out there beautifully on that 3rd down and short yardage play.
It was a heck of a nice call. They caught West Aurora looking for the run there, I think, and Steve laid it in there, and Todd just couldn't pull it in.
Let's take a look at that replay, Dave.
Yeah, you see there, he really isolated everybody with that ball fake to Cumberlander. I think Todd wishes he had that one to catch again.
Purser, I didn't realize he had such a good arm. That ball is thrown a long ways.
Yeah, he really worked hard in the offseason. He had trouble throwing the ball last year. He wasn't really a good throwing quarterback, but I tell you, he's been coming on the last few games. He's been throwing the ball well. He's going to keep people honest against that pass.
Well, Purser's thrown for about a 50% completion rate. You know, and the Maroons have thrown for 600 yards, 3 touchdowns. So you can see Elgin has been doing most of their scoring on the ground, but Purser, his arm gets him there, and then the backs take it over. So it's 4th down, and Coach Ronella calls a timeout to get his team make a decision. It's 4th down and short yardage. Coach Ronella, I'll tell you, calls some interesting plays. If you had a chance to see the Elgin-York game and a lot of our other games that Ron Ellett calls, he played quarterback in college himself at Eastern Illinois. And you can see that he uses his knowledge as a quarterback to his own advantage. 4th down and 2, 48-yard line. Ron Ellett getting some things across to his squad. And there he comes off the playing field. In high school, coach is allowed to go into the huddle on a timeout. 4th and 2, big play for the Maroons. Power I formation. The Blackhawks bunch it up. There's going to Montgomery. He's tackled by Bushbacher. Gonna have to see the marking by the officials. But Mark Bushbacher is knifed in behind that power I formation. That's a formation Elgin used so successfully against Streamwood. It's some plays that they picked up just in watching DeKalb. And this is going to be a very important measurement. 7:30 to go. He's got to cross the 50-yard line. Just short. You can't get closer than that. That was less than half the length of a football. First and 10 Blackhawks. So the Elgin takes a gamble on the fourth down play. Chris Montgomery falls just short. There's our score, 12-7. West Aurora Blackhawks unable to convert on their extra points. First and 10, 50-yard line. Hand off the walls. And he picks up at least 5 before being tackled by number 32, Bill Childress, sophomore linebacker. Poltrock, number 61, Bruce Poltrock in at the nose tackle. The two other tackles, 76, John Pleskovich, Reggie Richardson. Second down and 5. Boris hits Bushbacher, and he picks up the first down. And that time, Childress just missed him. He could have been right there. Yeah, that would have been a heck of a hit if he'd have put it on it.
I saw they had people in the right place, but Bill just, it looked like a matter of 32. Childress didn't pick the ball up. He was in the right spot, but it looked like almost he didn't know where the ball was exactly. If he would have picked that off, it would have been daylight all the way.
First and 10. Reggie Richardson is now playing in the nose spot. Poltrock and Nash are the tackles. Shotgun formation for Boris. Page in motion. There goes a hand off the walls going against that motion play. And Steve Burser stayed at home and made a nice tackle. That's pretty tough because Barrico is staying on Page all the way, and so anytime that he follows Page inside, there's nobody there right at the end spot to make the hit. But Steve Burser came up from his safety place. And Childress comes out, and in comes number 5, Todd Upsall. Small in stature, but big in heart, Dave.
I tell you, as we said, Kenny, I think the key with West is just trying to contain them and hopefully wait for a turnover because they've got so many things they can throw at you, it's tough to stop everything.
Once again, the shotgun. Here goes Page in motion. The Maroons rotate and shift. He's looking for Page all the way. Montgomery is right there and puts the ball out of his hands. Nice play by the junior, Chris Montgomery, number 31. If he could have been there just a little sooner, it would have been an interception, but he did the next best thing, and he knocked the ball out of Kenny Page's hands. And that was a well-executed play.
Yeah, Boris put it right there, and it looked like Page had a little trouble getting the handle initially, and when Montgomery put that hit on, he lost it. We're going to see it right here.
There's Montgomery, just stripped it away.
Heck of a throw by Boris. You can tell those two kids worked all summer, just like they said they did.
Third down, 7, 34-yard line, 5:30 to go, first quarter. Page once again in motion. Boris looking over the middle for Cross. He's got him, and he drops it. Kendrick Cross, number 1, had a touchdown if he had held on to that ball. And Boris threaded the needle. That ball was right there.
Yeah, the Maroons can feel very fortunate there. They had a little mix-up in the secondary. I think we had a little indecision as to who was going to take that particular man between Rodney Scott and Chris Montgomery. They were both kind of looking at each other.
Look at Cross.
Oh, it was all there, I tell you.
Frustrating. Fourth down, Mark Bushbacher is going to punt. And I'll tell you, the West Aurora special teams certainly have had some trouble. Todd Upsall lets that ball go in the end zone, but there's a flag down as West Aurora didn't probably have enough men on the line of scrimmage as one of their players came in.
I think you can look for Maroons to take this one.
So it's now Maroons' ball as they decline the penalty, take the ball on the 20-yard line. First and 10, Burser fumbles! And Steve Burser fighting it out, trying to get that ball back, and he does. That's the second miscue between the center and the quarterback that the Maroons have had. And Steve Burser, aggressive, as we've mentioned before. He wasn't going to let somebody take that ball away from him.
Kenny, the way West Aurora's been playing aggressively on defense, the Maroons really can't afford any mistakes such as that. They've got to take advantage of every play from scrimmage that they've got.
That's a wasted down. Second down and 9. Burser picked up a yard. There's a pass to Montgomery, a little screen. Following his blockers, keeping his feet driving, Chris Montgomery picking up some nice yardage. Tackled by number 65, the linebacker, Billy Perez.
I think from here on out, Kenny, you might be able to look for a lot of different formations, a lot of different looks from the Maroons. I know Coach Ellett has a number of plays that he hasn't used yet this season, but they've worked on every day in practice. They're out here before practice every day for an hour working on different pass plays, different formations, and different looks that they can give a team, and hopefully catch a team like West Aurora by surprise.
Well, here's a different look with Terry Cumberlander, Rodney Scott in an I formation, Chris Montgomery out of the game, Dave Eater, and the Maroons in a little bit of a different formation as Cumberlander goes in motion. And it looks like Todd Upsall is going to throw, and he hits Rodney Scott for the first down. And you talk about different looks, different. Hey, Cook, you called it, man. You called it. I'll give you credit.
A little double pass.
A little double pass, and that's that little lefty, Todd Upsall, standing off to the side of the offensive backfield, and he took the pitch from Bursar and hit Rodney Scott.
Okay, what you're going to see here, they're going to clear out with that split receiver. You see Rodney Scott sneaking out of the backfield in the flat for a little short pass. And Cumberlander providing the blocking as he went into motion.
It's like having a guard in front of you. 1st and 10. Maroons and out. Cumberlander goes in motion. And Montgomery moved a little bit that time, and this time the pass goes from Seatman to Montgomery. He's still on his feet. Dodges a couple tacklers, but some good pursuit by West Aurora puts him down out of bounds. And
as you said, I think we had a little motion there.
Well, Elgin a little excited, a little tense. They're only down by 5, 12-7, 3:45 to go in the first half. This game could decide the Upstate 8 title, and Coach Ronell knows that full well. He's been to the state tournament before. In 1976, he won the state title in Class 1A.
You know,
He's a coach at Hampshire High School.
They run that little double pass both ways with either Upsall or Seatman, and I think what you're going to see, as long as West Aurora gives that flat pass to him there, they're going to take it. But especially with Seatman, if they come up and try and take that away, you might look for him throwing deep down the sideline as he can throw the ball.
Joe Admanavicius, number 89, is in at one of the split receivers. Seatman and Scott at the wingbacks. Cumberlander the fullback. There's Seatman in motion, and Seatman's going to throw it, looking for Bursar, and the ball is picked off. And he knocked out of bounds. Number 65 picks that ball off. Billy Perez, the linebacker, picked off the pass that was intended. It looked like one of those passes Walter Payton to Jim McMahon, but it went awry as Seatman's pass was picked off by number 65, Billy Perez.
It looked like West had that one sniffed out. Everybody stayed home. Nobody was really fooled by it as they stayed and kept in that area with Bursar there.
Perez stepped right in front of Bursar. And that was a good hit.
He did a heck of a job
by number 76, John Pleskovich, to save a touchdown. 1st and 10, 12-yard line, Blackhawks. Pitch goes to Walls, and there's a flag down. Walls makes a cut. But we just talked about Pleskovich, and he made a nice tackle on Roosevelt Walls. Good containment. But there have been enough flags down for motion with these different formations.
That's the type of action they need from those interior linemen there. John Pleskovich did a heck of a job of coming up. Even if he doesn't make the tackle, he turned the play back in so that the linebackers should be scraping down.
Well, Upsall is in and Childers goes out.
And 13 at the Maroon 15-yard line.
So it'll be 2nd down and 13. Nice play by John Pleskovich. Reggie Richardson at the nose tackle, Pleskovich, and Nash at the other tackles. Boris, some pressure put on him. He's hit by David Eater. What a stick by Dave Eater. And I'll tell you, Boris felt that one. Wow.
Yeah,
Dave Eater is a good hitter. That junior is tough.
Come from that backside, he just had no idea it was coming. That's the first time I think we've really seen a stunt from any of the linebackers from the Maroons. I think they sniffed the pass there and decided to come across the line. You see Eater coming in untouched from the outside.
Oh, that one could have been picked up. That could have been Elgin ball. What a rip. Now that is going to go down as a classic hit for the Elgin Maroons.
I tell you, David Eater gets a clean shot at you, you know you're going to be hit. He and Jeff Orman both, they're not very big for linebackers, but they're going to stick people.
And they're going to be around next year. 3rd down and 26. The Maroon defense just annihilating West so far on this series. 28-yard line. Boris, he has time. Reggie Richardson's on him. He gets away from one. Pleskovich has got him. Almost pushed him out of bounds. And Pleskovich, what pursuit by the Maroons. And that time, late hit is going to hurt.
That's a terrible call.
A late hit. And that time, And that time, as Boris breaks containment. And he got hit out of bounds, and there's a flag called, flag thrown, and that may hurt the Maroons. There's one of the Maroon players. I hope he's all right. It's Carl Alagna, one of the defensive backs. Looks like he may have a cramp or his ankle is bothering him. Let's take a look at the replay and see if we can get that late hit on the replay. There's good pressure by Reggie Richardson. There comes Pleskovich. He goes out of bounds, and I don't know about that late hit call. That was, I think the coach maybe, they called it on Steve Salisbury on the sideline. Well, he's a wrestling coach because probably he thought he'd get 2 points for a takedown. You gotta watch those wrestling coaches on the sideline. 2:12 to go and timeout West. 4th down, big play. The ball is on the 13-yard line.
Boris showed a heck of a lot of mobility there. They've said he doesn't like to run with the ball too much, but he showed me a lot right there. He got outside and kept on running.
I think that's one of the keys to Jeff Voris that as I've watched him play in other games, Dave, is the fact that he is so quick. You know, that if they do put a little pressure on him, he steps around it and he throws the ball well. So he's a hard guy to stop.
Yeah, he did a super job there. He stepped up in the pocket, it closed on him, and then he went outside and got the yardage back.
So now it's a 4th down play, and if the Maroons have had every play is a big play in a game like this, but this is one of their biggest defensive plays that they've had to make. And it looked like they had West Aurora stopped on about the 26-yard line, but a late hit call has hurt Elgin. Well, there have been enough flags thrown down here, Dave, I'll tell you.
You know, I'm sure the Maroons would like to stop him here and score again, but the big thing is if they can stop him, they've got to be happy going in only down by 5 points in this ball game.
Well, you got to watch the top of your screen as Page and Bushbacher split out wide. Boris is looking for Page across the middle, and nothing there, and the ball was knocked down, deflected. It didn't even get there, but Kenny Page was covered.
You know, there is
so Elgin takes over on that one.
There is a possibility that people were looking for interference on that particular play, but as soon as that ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage, it's a live ball. You can hit the man. It doesn't matter.
Let's see who gets a hand on it.
The ball was tipped.
The ball was tipped. That was John Pleskovich, number 76, tips the ball, and a big play for Elgin. 1st and 10 Maroons, 2 minutes to go. They've got to sustain the ball for a few plays here. The ball's on the 13-yard line, so they go in at halftime, only down by 5. Cumberlander over the right side.
I don't think the Maroons don't want to turn the ball over here, but I think you're still going to look for them to try and score. I think they're going to try and possibly go with some safe type of passes.
The Elgin offensive line, Jeff Rohner, number 50. The guards, Dan Verity, 69, Jerry Potasic, 72. And the right tackle is Reggie Richardson, number 79. Left tackle, John Pleskovich, number 76. Tight end is number 88, Dale Norris. Montgomery, Cumberlander. Handoff goes to Montgomery over the right side. Following Pleskovich. Good pickup for Chris Montgomery. Clock is running. 1:25 to go in the half. Elgin down 12-7. So far, it's been every bit as good a game as everybody talked about, Dave.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with both teams. You know, West Aurora, you can't help but be impressed by them. They throw the ball well, they run the ball well, they mix things up. You never know what to expect from what they're going to do. And yet the Maroons have done a good job of doing what we said. They're containing them. They're not giving up the big play. They're letting them move the ball down the field, but they're not giving up the big 70, 60, 50-yard touchdown.
Bill Childers in at fullback. It's going to be a run following Montgomery. If he can get outside, he can get that 1st down. And it looks like he did as he gets thrown out of bounds near the West Aurora bench. With 47 seconds to go in the half. Ken Bates along with Dave Cookland on the Centel Cable Sports Network. Joet Manavicius and Terry Cumberlander bring in the play from Coach Ronell. A little more breathing room for the Maroons. They pick up the 1st down on their own 25-yard line. And in comes number 22, Todd Seatman. So time enough for the Maroons to get within at least field goal distance for Larry Sullivan. Well, he needs another 40 yards. Burser with time. Looks for Manavicius, and the ball is intercepted by number 22. That's Mark Bushbacher, and you hear that name enough, don't you, Dave?
You can bet if there's a play made, 22 is going to be close to it.
Mark Bushbacher, number 22, the senior safety for the Blackhawks. Also an excellent receiver. Here's the replay as Bursar just throws it up as good as a punt, and Bushbacher fields it like an outfielder on the 40-yard line, and 25 seconds to go. Voris, nice catch by Bushbacher. As we talked about, what a great athlete. They're going without a huddle. 14 seconds. 10. Voris is going to air it up. Looking for Page. And Barico and Bursar right there. 4 seconds to go, so time enough for one more play. The ball is on the Blackhawk 45-yard line. Boy, Mark Bushbacher shows you a lot, doesn't he, Dave?
Yeah, he's a super competitor, heck of a wrestler, heck of a catcher in baseball. Just fine all-around athlete.
4 seconds to go in the half. Maroons at a prevent defense with Rodney Scott, Chris Montgomery, and Steve Bursar. 20 or 25 yards deep. Forrest gives it to Walls. He's got a little running room. And that'll be the last play of the half. As Walls picks up good yardage, that'll look good on his average. Matt Barico makes the stick. And the score at halftime is West Aurora 12 and the Maroons 7. So it's been everything that we've been talking about. Kenny Page, the battle between Kenny Page and the Elgin Maroons secondary has kind of been stalemated, but the running of Roosevelt Walls has sure made the difference. In the first quarter, Jeff Boris scored on a 1-yard run following a 75-yard drive. The kick was missed. The Blackhawks led 6-0. Todd Upsall then caught a 15-yard pass from Steve Bursar. Kicked by Larry Sullivan was good, and that was the first play of the second quarter. Gave the Maroons a 7-6 lead. However, West Aurora struck back 3 minutes later on a shovel pass, a nice little inside pass to Kenny Page for 17 yards. And the attempt for the extra point was no good and made the score 12-7, which is our score at halftime. We'll be back for second half action shortly.
First downs to 4 first downs for Elgin. Jeff Voris had a fine first half, completing 12 out of 19 passes for 128 yards. 4 of those to Kenny Page for 50 yards, but as we saw, 2 of those were on that little shovel pass, that little pitch pass. Tony Jones also had 2 receptions for 16 yards, and the key man, I think, in the first half for West Aurora was Roosevelt Walls with 14 carries for 88 yards. As far as the Maroons were concerned, Steve Bursar had a good, solid first half, completing 4 out of 6 passes for 47 yards, with 1 interception coming on that last desperation pass at the end of the half. And Chris Montgomery led the Elgin rushers with 9 carries for 54 yards. Another key was Terry Cumberlander was held to only 7 yards on 3 carries. I think we're going to have to get some yardage from the big fullback. Todd Upsall led the Maroons in receiving with 2 catches for 42 yards and an average of 21 yards per catch.
Well, one statistic I did pick up also, thanks Dave, was West Aurora controlled the ball for 15 minutes. Elgin had the ball for a little over 8 minutes. So West did control the ball, but they didn't get the points. That's what Ryan Ellett was hoping they'd do. So Moran's kick is angling toward the out-of-bounds line. It's taken by Chris Montgomery. He's got a little running room, but he's wrapped up at about the 25-yard line by about 7 or 8 Blackhawks.
Something interesting there, Kenny, I think you'll see. On the Blackhawk kickoff team, they send everybody down. Kenny Page remains about 20 yards behind the play because, you know, he's going to catch anybody that breaks away in the open field.
Oh, yeah, he'll catch him by 10. He doesn't even need that much. 1st and 10 for the Maroons, behind 12-7. First offensive series of the second half. The ball's on the 26-yard line. Steve Bursar, Jeff Rohner is center, number 50. Guards Verdi and Pleskovic. Handoff goes to Cumberlander over the left side.
And there's exactly what we were saying, Kenny. I think they're going to look for Cumberlander. I'm sure Coach Ellett got on him a little bit and said, Terry, we're going to have to get some yardage from you and keep those guys honest in the middle because they are taking the middle away from the Maroons so far. And in order for the Maroons' outside game to open up, they're going to have to get something from the middle.
Coach Ryan Ellett said earlier that he'd like to get his running game going. There's Bursar's passing stats, 41 for 81, 610 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 2nd and 8, 28-yard line. There's Bursar. He's going to throw it to the air. He's got a receiver open, and it's underthrown. He was looking for Doug Wagner, the junior end. He's 6'3", 195, good size. Ball's underthrown, and another flag down.
I think we saw a little gadget play coming there from the Maroons, possibly. I noticed number 8, Rodney Scott, was trailing Wagner as Wagner was running that curl pattern. There was a possibility of maybe running a little pitch, a little flea flicker back to him there.
Well, Ron Ellett certainly has a variety of plays. He uses them all. And, you know, he's told me, like you mentioned before earlier in the game, that he hasn't used them all.
Yeah, he's got a number of
still some that he
plays.
hasn't done.
That's right. And we saw that flea flicker work very well for him on a big gainer again in that DeKalb game, in the homecoming game, where they ran that particular play and got a first down when they really needed it.
Well, there's the flag. It was an ineligible receiver downfield, and that hurts the Maroons. It'll make it 2nd down and 23. Ball is on around. His ball's around the 17-yard line. Burser, middle screen to Cumberlander. He's got some room if he can get past the defense. Good stick by number 55 of the Blackhawks, Joe Strom, the linebacker, but Cumberlander picked up good yardage.
Maroons had kind of a double screen look there. They sent Rodney Scott out in the flat to the right looking for a possible screen and kind of opened it up a little bit for Cumberlander in the middle there. He might have gotten a few more yards if he hadn't had to stretch for the ball there.
You see Rodney coming out.
Right,
yes.
You see Rodney releasing it outside and then Cumberlander, and they've got the 3-man wedge in front.
Boy, a good hit, but Terry Cumberlander showed some speed and some durability. A nice pickup for the Maroons. It's 3rd down and 9. Ball on the 28-yard line. Burster to the air. He's got a receiver. It's Montgomery. First down. Nice pass. Good connection. Tackle by Greg Becker, the cornerback. Chris Montgomery. Excellent hands.
You're going to see here, it wasn't a real pretty ball by Steve, but he put a heck of a nice touch on it, getting it over that linebacker's hands. He just laid it in there. You saw he didn't really try and zip it.
There's a replay.
See here, the play-action fake. Now he just puts a nice touch and gets it over the man. He doesn't try and zip it in there.
Was he open? 1st and 10, 48-yard line. The Maroons marching in the 3rd quarter. Burster to throw, plenty of time. Overthrows receiver. Pass was intended for Eric Isabeau, number 81.
Now one problem
2nd
there,
down and 10.
I think if Steve could pick up actually not looking at that primary receiver so much, if he looks at that man and then checks back to the middle, I think he'll see a receiver open on a drag pattern there, and I know that's what Coach Ellett wants him to do, rather than just stare at that one particular receiver.
2nd and 10. Elgin on their own 48-yard line. Burser. Little screen pass to Rodney Scott. He's got Reggie Richardson in front of him. He's got some running room. Good move. He makes a nice cutback. Rodney Scott's got some room down the sideline. He stiff arms number 17, Greg Becker, and a beautiful run and some nice blocking. Reggie Richardson credit him with a beautiful block, number 79.
I tell you, that play was run just like you want to draw it up. Burser hung in there as long as he could. He took a heck of a stick back there, but he let those linemen get through. Reggie Richardson kicked the man out on the block as he pulled out for the screen.
Let's watch number 79's block here. That gives.
You see, Burser took a heck of a stick there. Scott made another cut back in as they opened it up in the middle there.
Fakes out Bushbacher. One person between him and the end zone, and look at that Walter Payton stiff arm. 1st and 10, the ball on the 10-yard line. 9:28 to go, 3rd quarter. Montgomery in motion, handoff to Upsall on the counter. Turns into his own player. He would have been in the end zone. That play worked. That's the 2nd time they've run that tonight. It worked pretty well this time.
I think they shifted their linebackers over there with the motion. Todd cut back, and as you said, and unfortunately for the Maroons, he ran into his own blocker. But the man was there in the right place. Number 10 made the saving tackle for the Blackhawks, Dan Rogowski.
2nd down and 3, the ball on the 3-yard line. And up to Cumberlander on the right side, and he's in for the touchdown. Terry Cumberlander with the score.
Down on that side, inside that 5-yard line, Terry Cumberlander puts that head down and he smells that end zone.
Terry Cumberlander with his 4th touchdown of the year.
You see Cumberlander's not to be denied on this play. He put down, drove, reached for that end zone.
You notice that time, Rodney Scott, number 8, led through. Here's Larry Sullivan. 13-12, the Maroons ahead. Sullivan isn't going to miss. He's dead on. He can kick that ball out of the place. 14-12 Maroons.
Now the key here, once again, Kenny, is that the Maroons come out, play that defense the way they have been, contain the Blackhawks. I don't think they're going to stop them dead too often, but they're going to have to do the same thing they've been doing, giving up a little yardage, playing it soft, and hoping for a mistake. But I'm sure they've made an adjustment at halftime to try and take away that running game a little bit. I think we can look for that here in the second half. But all in all, I think the Maroons they've given up some yardage first half, but I think they've done a good job defensively. When you hold the West Aurora to 12 points and a half, you've done a heck of a job.
Oh, tremendous job by the Maroon defense. Nice run by Rodney Scott.
You know, earlier in the week, Coach Ellis said, realistically, in order to beat the Blackhawks, you're going to probably have to score maybe 4 times. Even with the Maroons' solid defense, I think he felt that way, that we might have to score 4 times to beat them.
Larry Sullivan. Ball is bobbled by the Blackhawks. He's on the ground. The Maroons are there.
Well, there's the big play we're talking
short man ran into him. First and 10, Maroons. What a break for Elgin on the 23-yard line. Now, what happened on that one?
Well, you saw I believe it was
Look at these happy
45.
Maroons.
I believe it was number 45 for the Blackhawks who went back. Kenny Page had a clear path to catch the ball. He went back and mixed it up a little bit and caused the bobble.
Here's a replay, Dave. Now, there's a kick by Sullivan, a nice high kick. You missed it here. But the short man ran. You can see right there, the short man.
Yeah, number 25.
25.
He was backing up and got in the way of Kenny Page and caused him to mishandle the ball.
Good camera work by Raphael Qualls on the field. 8:22 to go, third quarter. Cumberlander. Eight minutes to go in the third quarter. Big break for the Maroons, picking up the fumble on the kickoff.
Once again here, Kenny, we see Ron Ellett using a timeout early, and I think we're going to base it on the same thing we said there in the first half. A lot of people don't like to see you use that timeout early in the game, but Coach Ellett realizes this is a big series. They need to put some points on the board, and they don't want a mistake. You know, he figures we need to score now and hope we don't have to score at the end of the game.
Well, the Maroons, I'll tell you, they're a fun team to watch, you know, considering that this was a team that hadn't won that many games coming into this season.
This is a big series for Maroons. They need to put some more points on the board because you know as well as I do that West Aurora can fill it up very quickly.
Well, Elgin is a fourth quarter team, though, Dave. I have to mention that. They outscored their opponents 48-10 in the fourth quarter.
Well, they're kind of putting themselves in that situation you mentioned earlier in the game, hoping to keep West Aurora in a tight ball game, making them play 4 quarters. As you said, they've just handled people so easily that they haven't had to play everybody for 4 quarters.
Coach Ron Ellett getting the Maroons going here. Cumberlander off tackle, and that timeout worked. And look at Terry Cumberlander, that second and third effort, as he's close to a first down. There's a flag down, and it looks like the Blackhawks might be a little frustrated.
As we said,
personal foul against the Blackhawks, and if Elgin is taking charge of this one.
As we said, Kenny, I think maybe Terry Cumberlander got a little tongue whipping there in his halftime, and it sure has been effective. He's running like a man possessed right now. He wants that goal line.
Does he want that? I couldn't agree with you more, Dave. As the personal foul goes half the distance to the goal, the ball is going to be on the 6-yard line.
We're down inside that 10-yard line. I think we can look for number 40 to be carrying that ball a few times down here again. He's pretty effective in this type of situation.
The Maroons driving, trying to build on this 2-point lead that they have. Both teams undefeated in the conference. Couldn't be any more important than this one. And off to Cumberlander, and he's just going to drive over the left side. Following his guard, Jerry Potasic, and tackle John Pleskovich. And that center, Jeff Rohner, gives some credit to the Maroon offensive line. Rodney Scott bringing the play in from Coach Ron Ellett. The time is running, 7:20 to go, third quarter. The Maroons up by 2. And the West Aurora defense is finding out, getting a little introduction. Hi, I'm Terry Cumberlander. I'm 6 foot. I weigh 235. I'm coming at you. Burser fakes and keeps. And once again, you can see the excellent play calling by Ron Ellett. He sets up the defense very well. He's ran Cumberlander a few times in a row, and then he faked it, and Burser kept it. Just like some of the bootleg plays that Steve Burser has done all year.
I tell you, I think the Maroons don't want to come away with just 3 points here. They want to put another touchdown on the scoreboard. That makes a situation where West Aurora is going to have to score twice if Larry Sullivan's able to kick the extra point, which usually is pretty automatic.
Dale Norris, a tight end, number 88. Split end is Todd Upsall. Montgomery in a wingback position. Hand off to Cumberlander over the right side, and he's in for the touchdown! Terry Cumberlander scores again with 6:22 to go, and in a little over 2 minutes, the Maroons have put in 2 touchdowns and take a 20-12 lead.
Now, as I said, if Larry Sullivan is able to kick this extra point, that puts him 9 points up. That puts him in a situation where the Blackhawks definitely have to score twice. And you know you can look for those Maroons to be coming down and trying to score again.
Boy, does Cumberlander want it? Look at that offensive line blocking, though. You can see that some of his blockers are in the end zone ahead of him. Number 79, Reggie Richardson. Here's the extra point try. Todd Seaman holding. Dale Norris snaps. Sullivan's kick is no good. Now that hurt, Dave. We're talking about that almost positive extra point, and it isn't there. So it's 21, or make it
that
20-12.
That time the Blackhawks were able to break through the interior there and put a little pressure on him, and I don't know if the snap was mishandled a little bit, but he definitely didn't get the ball soundly like he usually does.
Well, that's not enough, because now the Blackhawks have a chance to go for a touchdown and go for 2 and end up with a tie, and then we go to and in a tie in high school, what happens, Dave?
We go overtime, but I don't think we're going to see that situation. I think we're going to see some more points on the boards by both teams. I don't think this game's going to end up 20-20.
Well, there's 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. There's a lot of time.
Yeah. Both teams can score very quickly.
Okay, this game has been everything it's built up to be. The 2 undefeated teams in the Upstate 8. West Aurora hasn't lost in 15 consecutive games. Sullivan. This time it's a short kick. Right up the middle. Taken by number 25, Sean Cannon. Good field position for the Blackhawks. Cannon just weaved his way through the Maroon kickoff team, got the ball to the 44-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. And the Blackhawks in a position they sure don't like to be, and that's behind. They probably haven't had that happen all year. Kendrick Cross split at the top of your screen. Kenny Page at the bottom, along with Mark Bushbacher, number 22. Voris looks inside and hits Jones, number 11. And he's hit and fumbles.
He was down, though.
But he was down. Dave Eder made the hit, number 24, along with Jeff Orman, 33.
That's one thing, Kenny. The Blackhawks are a very well-coached team. I don't think you're going to look for them to panic. They're going to take what the Maroons give them, try and move the ball down the field. And as we said, throughout the game, the Maroons are going to hope to contain them and create a mistake eventually.
2nd and 4, ball on the 50-yard line. Boris, time, drops deep, throws the ball over the middle to Jones. And he got a good shot that time. Good pressure by Bruce Poltrock and Brian Nash on Jeff Voris, but it's a 1st down on the completion to number 11, Tony Jones.
Well, you know, Kenny, this Voris can throw the ball awfully well, but it sure helps when you've got a core of receivers like he's got. You notice Tony Jones went down to catch the ball there. He didn't try and reach and catch it. He's got kids that know how to catch the football out there.
Bushbacher has made a great catch in the first half. Burser and Montgomery and Scott are the 3 deep backs for Elgin. Handoff goes to Roosevelt Walls. He was tripped up by David Eder that time and finished off by Bill Childers, the sophomore, getting a start at linebacker, number 32. It's a 2nd down play. Roosevelt Walls picks up 6. Ball's on the 37-yard line of the Maroons, and the clock is running. It's 4:30 to go in the third quarter. Voris, number 12. Looking for a quick out play to Kendrick Cross. And Kendrick Cross, 6'2", 180-pound senior, makes a nice catch on the sideline.
You know, Cross came down out of bounds on that particular play, but he was forced out by the defense player. You hear some groans from the crowd, but had he not been hit, he would have come down in bounds, I'm sure.
And the big thing on that play is that it's a 1st down.
That's the first time they've completed that outside release pass there.
28-yard line of the Maroons. The Blackhawks driving. Forrest to Walls, inside. And that time, getting a little bit of a bulldog on him was Brian Nash, number 71, from behind. But Walls still picks up 6 every time. That time picked up about 7 every time he touches the ball. And then he gives a... See, the thing that does on that first down play, Dave, is that, on second down, it gives you a lot of variety.
Sure.
You only have a couple yards to go. You can throw, run. You've got a lot of confidence. Ball's on the 21-yard line. Page at the bottom of your screen. Jones, number 11, in the slot. Voris hits Bushbacher on the crossing pattern, and that time Dave Eder was right there.
Nice job by Eder, yes.
Number 24, the junior, Dave Eder.
Procedure.
Illegal procedure against the Blackhawks.
This is going to be a tough decision for the Maroons. They actually didn't gain any yardage, and you hate to give West Aurora another down to do something.
Well, it looks like the Maroons are going to take it, Dave. They're going to keep it a second down. Todd Upsall now comes in as a passing situation could easily occur. Number 5, Todd Upsall, replaces number 32, Bill Childers. I've been having trouble with that name. I just want to call him Childers for some reason. It's probably easier.
That's it.
Thanks. 2nd and 8, 26-yard line. I knew I had you here for something. Quick pass. Out the cross, and he makes a nice catch. The official right there, and it's a first down.
Yeah, that time the Maroon defender on the chuck wasn't able to make the good contact, and he was able to release outside and escape from that first man.
Well, Kendrick Cross is a basketball player, as is Kenny Page, and he showed it. Here's Voris. Now, he's thrown for more than that just in this game alone, but that's not bad stats to go into after 7 games. 1st and 10. 15-yard line. Little hand back to Bushbacher. And he's in for the touchdown.
Touchdown.
Touchdown by Mark Bushbacher with 3:15 to go.
Got a penalty flag, however, Kenny.
There's a flag down.
We've got a block below the
Illegal block. Illegal block, and what a break for the Maroons. If things are going to go your way, they might as well go consistently in that direction. Whoa.
I tell you, we see what kind of
Take
coach...
back that touchdown.
We see what kind of coach Jocko Wren is over there also. He didn't get frustrated. He didn't get upset. I think he might have seen the block. He says, come on, fellas, we're going to stick it in there anyhow. He's got a lot of confidence in that offense of his.
Well, here's a replay. Let's see if we can find the illegal block that occurs. It must happen downfield.
There it is. He cut him.
Yes, right there. Right in the middle field, he got cut down. So it's an illegal block. Big break for the Maroons, but it's still a first down. Ball's on the 24-yard line. Voris looks for Page, and he throws it behind him. So it'll be second down. I think that, as Coach Ella talked about, Jeff Voris likes to throw to a spot.
Yeah, they've got a lot of timing patterns. They can't afford to have any variety or change-ups as far as their patterns are concerned.
So it's second down. 19 to go. 24-yard line of the Maroons. 3:11 to go, third quarter. Elgin ahead, 20-12. Page at the top of the screen with Bushbacher. Kendrick Cross at the bottom. Boris hands off the Walls up the middle. He's got some room. And Rodney Scott stops Roosevelt Walls. Otherwise, he was in the end zone. Could pick up.
It's one thing you notice about this West Aurora offense also, Kenny. The clock does not move very fast when they've got the ball because it's stopping every play.
This is a
almost.
long game, Dave. I have to tell you that. We're going to use up a lot of tape in this one. 3rd and 9. Ball on the 13-yard line. 2:35 to go. Third quarter. Page and Bushbacher. Hand off the Walls up the middle. Tackled by David Eder. Ball's on about the 5-yard line. Eder and Nash making that stop.
Just short of the first down.
Just short of the first down. It'll be 4th down.
Like
about less than a yard, really. Ball's on the 4-yard line.
It's like they're bringing in their goal line defense here. First time we've seen this.
Elgin's going to try to stop the middle of the West Aurora surging line. Voris Goes for the quarterback sneak. We'll have to see how the officials mark this one. He had to go to the 3. First down, no doubt, no measurement. You can see David Tosaw, number 73 of the Blackhawks, signaling the first down before the officials could. First and goal. Ball on the 4. .140 to go in the third quarter. Page split. There's Bushbacher, 22 in the slot. Over the middle to Jones. Just missed.
I think that's the most zip we've seen Boris put on a ball. He really cranked that one.
He might have thrown that a little hard.
Yeah, it looked like he almost caught Tony Jones off guard with that one.
So that brings up second down. Let's see that zing on the ball that you're talking about. Yeah, he did. He threw that a little hard, Dave. Otherwise, it would have been caught. Second down. Boris throws it out of the end zone. Intended for Kendrick Cross. The ball is overthrown, out of bounds. Third down. Third down and goal. Ball on the 4-yard line. Looks like the goal busters are holding. Number 44, Darren Perry, gets into the game. Little confusion by the Maroon defense. Third down and 4. Little handoff to Bushbacher. On the outside, and great play. Steve Burser coming up along. Number 24, and you can't say enough about that kid.
Yeah, they did.
Boy, when it comes to hitting hard, he does it.
They put Bushbacher in a situation where the only way he was going to gain any yards was cutting back against the grain, and he tried to go outside where there wasn't really anything to gain.
Big play on a third down. David Eder and Steve Burser rise to the occasion. Here's a replay, one of the biggest plays in the game. Bushbacher, 4 yards from pay dirt. Look at Eder destroy the block and make the tackle.
He and Burser both came up.
Well, you see Eder take on the block. That's what you want as a coach. Fourth down and 6. Forrest is going to be going for it. Every receiver is out. He's got plenty of time. Looks in the end zone. He has a receiver, and it's dropped. Tony Jones had it. He had the ball, but he dropped it. But there was pressure.
There, Kenny. That particular time, Jones had beaten the man outside, and Boris threw it behind him. He had to come back and try and make the catch. Had he put the ball there, it would have been trouble for the Maroons. But
every
the Maroons' credit,
there.
The Maroons' credit, you know, I'm sure Jeff Boris hasn't been put in this situation this year. He hasn't had the big pressure put on him.
Here's a replay. Let's see that, Dave. I'll see how open Jones is on this one.
You see, he had the man beat to the outside and had to come back and try and catch the ball. The ball still was catchable, but to Tony Jones' credit, it was a difficult catch.
Okay, it's first and 10. There's 39 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Elgin going into a little bit of a wind. Ball is on the 6-yard line. Cumberlander. Short yardage. So the Maroon defense holds on a first down and goal situation. Elgin holds for 4 downs.
This is where the Maroons would really, even if they don't score, would really like to get 1 or 2 first downs so that they can get the ball in West Aurora's hand in poor field position rather than giving them that situation where
There's
they can't
Ron
strike
now
quickly.
You can see that he isn't giving up, and he's ready, and Todd Upsall's following him. So that's the end of the third quarter. The Maroons ahead 20-12. And the crowd is on their feet. It's a standing ovation. That's something I haven't seen at Memorial Field for anybody in a long time, Dave. I'll tell you.
I haven't seen the crowd stand up in the fourth quarter for quite a while. Usually they aren't here by now.
Well, the Maroons have only won 10 games in the past 5 years, Dave, so it's not exactly been a banner, period of time. But Ron Elliott sure has changed that. You know, he led New Hampshire to a state championship, and he knows what it's like to win. He's got a winning percentage of over 70%. He coached 22 years at Hampshire High School, and everybody said, I don't know if a coach that coached in 1A ball, you can get away with all that stuff. You play Richmond Burton and Burlington Central. But he's shown that he can do it against some of the best in the state.
Tehran's credit, he's done a super job turning the program around with all the work he's done. But also to the kids' credit, he's got a nice nucleus of kids to work with. He had a lot of kids coming back from last year. This group of juniors had been champions as freshmen and sophomores. But you have to get that chemistry put together. And biggest of all, Coach Ellett has made them believe they could be winners. He's made them realize they can win ball games.
Goes to come. First and 10, 46-yard line of the Maroons. Boris to throw again. Hits Kenny Page in the flat. And he's stripped from behind by number 83, Matt Barrico, who was all over him. But Page still picks up good yardage.
There was that situation again that you mentioned earlier. Page going in motion. Barrico in a man-to-man situation. He's got to get some help from that outside linebacker there. You can't expect him, even though he did there, he kept up with him, made a nice tackle from behind. But you can't expect him to keep up with Kenny Page.
Officials are going to measure once again. 2:24 to go in the game. The Maroons ahead by 8, 20-12. Second down. Short yardage. Less than a yard. Ball on the 36-yard line, 2:22 to go in the game. Hand off the Walls, and he's sacked for a loss! Sacked for a loss, number 71, Brian Nash. Pulled Roosevelt Walls once again with one hand. You talked about strength, Dave. There's Roosevelt Walls, number 20, and he's been doing a good job of running all night. He's 6 foot, 180-pounder, and Nash just threw him down easily.
Yeah, he's a big, strong, emotional kid. You know,
third down and 2 yards to go. 37-yard line. The Blackhawks feeling the pressure a little bit. It's under 2 minutes. Here comes Bushbacher on the reverse. Gets her outside. Rodney Scott knocks him out of bounds. Close to the 20-yard line. But Bushbacher gets the first down, and that's a big play.
You know, Bushbacher did a heck of a job of reading his blocks there. The Maroons really didn't do too bad a job of stringing it out there, but he hesitated, read the block, and got outside.
This has been a good play for the Blackhawks all season, as Mark Bushbacher shows his athletic ability. This is a little bit of the replay showing you Bushbacher's run. Back to the action. Boris, everybody's covered. Now he's going to have to run. Jeff Orman knocks him out of bounds, but he had a receiver. Roosevelt Walls was wide open in the middle of the end zone, and he missed him. But the pressure of the Maroon defensive line and some good coverage by Chris Montgomery and Steve Bursar.
I didn't catch the receiving patterns there. They might have had some type of stutter step pattern there. As you notice the change in the drop there. Boris dropped his usual two-step drop, hesitated, and had a deeper drop after that.
But he puts the ball down to the 14-yard line. Boris is extremely quick. Picked up 6 on the play. Second down 4, 14-yard line, fourth quarter, 1:29 to go. The Maroons up by 8, 20-12. Boris fakes the pitch to Walls. He's got a receiver in Bushbacher. And he's short of the end zone.
Heck of a nice catch there by
Elgin making the stop on Bushbacher. By that time, he got just behind the linebacker, and his timeout west. 1:21 to go. Ball's on the 4-yard line, and Elgin's going to have to see if they can hold like they did before. Boris rolls left, hits Bushbacher. Bursar fell down, otherwise he might have made his stop. But Elgin finished him off before he could score. Dale Shaber talking to the Maroon defense, and there's John Wren.
See for the Maroons, number 61, Bruce Poltrock, and number 79, Reggie Richardson entering the game. Put the Maroons into that goal line defense again.
A big series. First down and goal, 4-yard line. I want to thank all of our crew tonight for the excellent job they've done. We have Raphael Qualls on one of our cameras, Bob Urban, and Jeff Berner on the camera. Good job, fellas. Doing our tapes tonight is Mark Miller. Bill Gregeline is doing our audio. Steve Reinert, Channel 6 weatherman, on our graphics. Switcher and director, Eric Iverson. Ken Bates along with Dave Cookland. First down. Forrest goes to Walls, and he's not in. Second down. Timeout West. 1:13 to go. And if this is intense, I'll tell you. The Elgin Maroons doing a good job defensively all game, especially the second half has been all Elgin. The Maroons taking advantage of some West Aurora miscues, like a dropped kickoff that set up a touchdown run by Terry Cumberlander that gave Elgin a 20-12 lead. And that extra point that's missed is really coming back to haunt Elgin. There's Dale Shabert, who was talking to his defensive team. But the Maroons used some good... There's Ron Ellett. I know he's concerned about what he has to do. Ron Ellett, and his assistants, Rich Carpenter, Monty Phillips, and Dale Shabert. 1:13 to go. Walls and Bushbacher to your right. Page at the top of the screen. Morris looking for Walls, or for Kendrick Cross, and he's got him for a touchdown. 1:09 to go in the game. Kendrick Cross. 4-yard touchdown pass from Jeff Voris. All alone. That was an isolation play, and that time it was just the old alley-oop, throw the ball up in the air, and let's see if Kendrick Cross can get it. So now it's 20-18, and Elgin goalbusters are going to have to be hard-pressed now to stop this extra point attempt.
Now this is it.
Boy,
right
Dave,
here.
I'll tell you,
This
what a
all
game.
boils down to.
So
Yeah.
if you couldn't find... You know, somebody asked me before the game how I'd call it. I said even. I guess even's a tie, huh? That means overtime.
You know, I tell you, the Maroons have done some kind of job here tonight, Kenny. I tell you, I don't think you would have found too many people outside of Coach Ellett and his squad and a lot of the people involved with the program here who would have believed that they'd give West Aurora this kind of battle and win a damn ball game if they hold on here.
Well, you know, Ron Ellett early in the season, he said, you know, we're going to be a pretty good team by the middle of the season. We'll be respectable, and he sure has proved that, and the crowd is on their feet. 20-18, the extra point. Forrest. Looks to throw the same play, and he's out of bounds! There's no score! The pass to Kendrick Cross, out of bounds! Covering there, number 87, Carl Alagna, and the Maroons are going wild, but it's not over yet. There's 1:09 to go. 20-18, the Maroons are ahead in this one. 1:09 to go. Here's just on the replay. There's the passes up, and you could see that he landed out of bounds when he caught that. Definitely out. Definitely out of bounds on the replay.
Absolutely.
1:09 to go in the game. Elgin ahead, 20-18, as the pass from Voris to Cross falls incomplete. Here's another look at that replay, Dave.
Yeah, you see, he landed out. He tried to get that 1 foot in, but he landed on his backside and wasn't able to drop it down in there.
Great job, cameraman. That was excellent.
Heck of a catch by Cross, but he just wasn't able to get that foot down in time. There's that Maroon defense. It's just a matter now of the Maroons holding on to that ball, as West Aurora has used up their timeouts, I believe.
Well, so the Maroons just have to hold the ball.
Coach
Elgin.
Ellett making some changes here on his kickoff return team. He's putting some more sure-handed people up there towards the front of the line, as you can be darn sure that West Aurora is not going to kick the ball deep.
1:09 to go. .109 to go in the game. The Maroons up 20-18. And this could be one of the biggest wins for Elgin High School, as the Maroons could be upsetting the West Aurora Blackhawks, but it's not over. There's 1 minute to go.
Rodney Scott, Todd Upsall, two of their more sure-handed people up on the front of the line. Jeff Orman, David Eder.
Yeah, they want some people that are used to handling the ball.
I tell you, you're not going to see anybody try and run with this ball. They're going to fall right on top of it.
Well, you know, Kenny Page is standing right up there, Dave. When that ball is kicked, Kenny Page is going to be on that ball so fast.
Yeah, there's nobody that's going to get there quicker than him.
Number 14, Bill Moran. There's the onside, and it goes to 10, and the ball's loose.
Tell you what, West Aurora's got
West
the ball.
Aurora looks like they have the ball.
I believe they do.
Nobody even grabbed it for the Maroons, as that ball just hit and rolled. And it's really not over.
Yep, West Aurora's ball.
1st and 10 for West. And the thing about that, the clock doesn't run, and there's a minute to go, and now a field goal, and it's all over. Timeout, Elgin. Ron Ellett is talking to the official.
What I think Coach Ellett might be arguing there is the fact that maybe Page hit the man before he had a chance to catch the ball after 110 yards. I don't know if that was true or not, but I'm sure that's what he's arguing about. Looked like he possibly did chuck him before the ball had gone 10 yards. As we said, Kenny Page got there very quickly.
Well, you have the fastest guy in the upstate 8, or one of the fastest people in the state, waiting for an onside kick. He's going to be there. What a well-executed. There's Coach Ron Ellett. He's pretty upset. Bill Moran did a nice job executing that extra point.
Now, this is a situation where the Maroons, there you see it. Well,
yes.
it hit Page before it went 10 yards. It hit Page in the shoulder before it went 10 yards. Did you get that in replay? Hit him right here before it got there. The thing the Maroons need to do here, Kenny, is if West Aurora does complete passes, they've got to keep that man in bounds after he catches the ball, because West Aurora doesn't have any more timeouts to use.
1st and 10, 42-yard line, 1:07 to go. Voris looking for Bushbacher. There's Page on the sideline. Montgomery breaks the tackle. Ball is loose. It's an Elgin recovery. Rodney Scott made that hit that caused Kenny Page to fumble, and Elgin gets the ball back.
I'll tell you what, Kenny.
And the Maroons are going crazy. What a hit by the Elgin defense.
You know, you see that so often, Kenny. You see a kid making a great effort trying to get that extra yard, and somebody hits him and he loses the ball. You can't fault Kenny Page. He was running hard trying to get that big yardage. They hit him from behind. A big pop by the Maroons, and big recovery by number 33, Jeff Orman, I believe.
1st and 10, Elgin. The ball is on the 22-yard line. 48 seconds to go.
And I'll tell you what, Kenny, you don't see anybody leaving the stadium on the Elgin Maroon side. They're a bunch of happy people.
By Rodney Scott. Burser falls on the ball, and the clock is going to run down. There's 34 seconds to go. The Elgin Maroons, the upset of the year, as they can go on to defeat the West Aurora Blackhawks and take the sole lead of the Upstate 8 Conference. All they need now is a win against Larkin High School, and they'll be into the state playoffs.
One guy we got to mention, he was the first guy out on that field when that fumble recovery took place, was defense coordinator Dale Shaver. I tell you, he deserves an awful big pat on the back.
10 seconds.
Heck of a game plan. They executed. He did the job along with those players tonight.
That's the ball game. It's all over. The Elgin Maroons upset the West Aurora Blackhawks 20-18, and what a game in Elgin. And the fans are going on the field. They're going to mob this team. What an unbelievable sight. Talk about high school football and the value of extracurricular athletics. The Maroons, it could happen at a better time for the School District 246. Steve Burser just can't believe it. And look at that field. It's like Elgin won the World Series. There go the fans.
You know, you see a classy group of West Aurora people out there also. They're dejected. They're down. They're coming over, though, and they're letting the Maroons know they played a hell of a ball game.
What an upset. as the Elgin Maroons defeat the West Aurora Blackhawks 20-18. And look at this crowd scene. This is amazing. This is one of the this is one of the top moments I've seen in high school athletics. They're coming over now to cheer the crowd. The crowd's giving them a standing ovation.
This looks like Wrigley Field should have looked about a month ago.
Oh, I hear you. What a tremendous sight.
They're on the goalpost. If we can get a picture of that. We
have some people hanging on the goalpost.
We got a referendum. We can't afford to take that thing
down by the scoreboard, but they're trying to take the goalpost down here at Memorial Field. Don't do it, fellas, because we do need these goalposts. There's some students hanging around the goalpost down by the south end of the field, right by the scoreboard.
They want to take it down.
There they are. Look at this.
I hope not.
I don't think they can do much damage, but this is something we haven't seen at Elgin High School in a long time.
I tell you, Kenny, they don't want to get off the field.
It's amazing. I wouldn't either if I played for Elgin. Look at that crowd. This is an amazing scene. Unbelievable. The Elgin Maroons winning 20-18. The score coming late in the game with 1:09 to go. And then West getting the ball back, not scoring on the extra point. What else could happen, Dave?
I tell you, Kenny, as I mentioned, I don't think there were a heck of a lot of people outside of Elgin who believed the Maroons even had a chance to be within a touchdown in this game. Most people, the sports writers in Chicago area, were picking the West Aurora Blackhawks by 1, maybe 2 touchdowns at least, and I think that was just being generous in their opinions. The Maroons believed they could do it. They showed it. They executed. They bent, as we say, but they did not break. That's one awful happy group of kids down there.
Look at these Maroons. They still haven't stopped celebrating. There's Reggie Richardson, number 79, and he did a great job of blocking. Let's credit the offensive line of the Elgin Maroons: Jeff Roner, Dan Verity, Jerry Potasic, John Puskovich, Reggie Richardson, Dale Norris, for doing a superb job. The defensive squad of the Maroons also outstanding. You can't say enough about that sack by Brian Nash when he threw down Roosevelt Walls.
I tell you, that was a big play.
When he had to do it. Elgin Maroon defense rising to the occasion. Some great pass defense by everyone.
And also there at the very end, Carl Lagna, he had been beaten for the touchdown on that little quick pass to the corner of the end zone, and he stuck right with him that next time and made it a very difficult catch, forced him to go to the out-of-bounds line, and he came down with the ball out of bounds. You know, the Maroons to a man, I mean, every man did a heck of a job tonight.
Okay, you know, in the first quarter, the Maroons were behind 6-0 as Jeff Voris capped off a 75-yard drive, taking 10 plays, but the kick was missed, and the kicking was an important part of this game as the way it wound down. In the second quarter, in the first play of the second quarter, Steve Burser hit Todd Upsall for a 15-yard pass. The kick was good, made the score 7-6. Then in the second quarter, Kenny Page took a 17-yard pass from his quarterback, Jeff Voris, a little pitch pass, and he ran 17 yards. The two-point conversion was no good. The score was 12-7 at halftime. Then in the third quarter, an excellent screenplay to Rodney Scott set up a 3-yard touchdown run by Terry Cumberlander with 8:51 to go in the third quarter, made the score 14-12. Then Elgin picked up the ball on a fumbled kickoff following that touchdown run by Cumberlander, got the ball on the 23-yard line. Cumberlander went to work, just about ran the 23 yards by himself, and then with 6:22 to go in the third quarter, he went over from 2 yards out, made the score 20-12. And then Elgin in the third quarter, in one of the big series that I can't forget, was first and goal on the 4-yard line, and they held the Blackhawks. And then in the fourth quarter, West Aurora drove. Kendrick Cross catching a 4-yard pass from Jeff Voris in the corner of the end zone with 1:09 to go, and that made the score 20-18. Then Voris attempted a pass to Kendrick Cross in the end zone, an instant replay almost of the touchdown pass, but Cross caught the ball. He was out of bounds by a foot. Then Aurora kicks off, onside kick, they recover, and a tremendous hit by Rodney Scott, and a fumble recovery by Chris Montgomery, and it was all over, and that's all she wrote. 20-18, the Elgin Maroons on top of the Upstate 8 Conference, undefeated. And Dave, I can't believe it.
I tell you, Kenny, it just really hasn't even set in yet. You know, you believe in the Maroons. You know, you had a feeling. You just had a feeling from the way things were this week, from the way the Maroons have built towards this game, and plus the feeling that, you know, West Aurora maybe, you don't want to say they were overconfident, but I don't think the people down in Aurora really took the Maroons seriously. I know earlier this week there was a sports writer in the Elgin area, from the Aurora area, who was talking to Coach Ellett, asking him what he planned for the game. Coach Ellett said, hey, we're going to do some things to take Aurora's game away from them. He said, I think we're going to beat them. And the sports writer looked at him and said, Coach, you can't really mean that seriously, do you? You're just Elgin. And Coach Ellett proved his point tonight.
Well, I want to thank Dave Cookland. I want to thank all of our production crew and for their help. Our final score in one of the most exciting football games I've been privileged to witness, the Elgin Maroons defeat the West Aurora Blackhawks 20-18, and the Maroons upset the number 9 ranked team in the state and take sole possession of the Upstate 8 Conference lead. This is Ken Bates from Memorial Field, from all of us at Centel Cable Television. I'm sure you're going to enjoy watching this one.
It's time to light these cigars, Kenny.
Thank you for joining us on Centel Cable Sports Network.